All right, so in this course, we are going to be building this website template here. This is a mimic of an insurance application or insurance business. Here, there's some unique stuff, or just some HTML and CSS skill sharpener type of project is what I will call it. Just working with different components and doing different things. And this course is going to be very beneficial for you when it comes to learning HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript to make this work, responsive design, to where everything looks good on a small screen, as well as when you expand it, it looks good as well too. So, and here I'm currently on a widescreen monitor, so I set the body to a certain width so I can control exactly what the website is doing and the page is doing when it comes to the layout and the design. So this is all the stuff that you're going to be learning in this course. So I hope you're excited. I'm excited to go through this course with you guys. So I will see you in the next one. Peace. All right. So in this video, we're going to get our Font Awesome icon set up, and we're also going to get our font set up. So our fonts will be popping. And as you can see, we're going to use a few icons. So we're going to need to grab Font Awesome for sure. And that'll be it just to get set up. All right. So let's do that. So first thing that we're going to do, of course, is add our index.html file. And then what I'm going to do is do an image abbreviation. So !tab, it will create the boilerplate that you would need, to get started with your index.html file. So what we want to do is get our Font Awesome icon. So let's do that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Font Awesome. And for this tutorial, we're going to do 5.5 version. So we're going to go to cdnjs.com. And we just want to get, so not 6.0. It's not 100% stable yet, but the one right before that. And we're just going to copy the link tag. And then what we're going to do is place it above here. All right, so now we have that. Now let's go get our Google font. So let's go to Google Fonts. And then we're going to click on here. And what we want to do is go get Poppins. It's a very cool, clean font. I really like using it. It makes a lot of web pages just look like it makes everything pop. Just according to their name, Poppins. So, well, the one we want to get is thin 100, and then let me make this bigger. We also want to get 400, and we want to get a bold 700. All you have to do is copy this link, and we're gonna paste it here. All right, let me just add some tabs to those so they line up, right? And also with that, I want to change document. Let's name this Protect You, since that's the name of our company that we're creating for this website template. So we have Protect You. Now what we want to do, let's just put an H1 here, and then let's do hey. And then if you guys haven't already, download an extension called Live Server here with extensions. I already have it installed, so you can right click and open with Live Server, which will open up a new tab in your browser menu with your website. As you can see, our font isn't working correctly because we haven't did the CSS yet. So let's add a new directory called styles. And then let's add a new folder in there called styles. Well, let's do app.css. App.css. Right, and what we want to do is we want to add that font family that we get right here from Google. Google Madoogle. We want to grab that, and then what we want to do is just paste it. So now if I save it and I go back to insurance, nope, not that one, protect you, and let's refresh. Oh, I actually have to link this. Let's link the style. So I like to put my style sheet above, like have it be the first one. We're gonna do a link, and then we want to do styles, and let's do app CSS. Now you see the font change. So we have our font set up, and we have our font awesome icon set up, right? So the next thing that we can do is create our GitHub repository, so we can start working with Git, and everyone can learn the Git flow and how to, commit and push up changes and pull down changes and merge branches and doing all those types of things you would be doing if you was working full time as a software developer, or if you are working currently as a full time developer, it's just good to know Git. All right, so let's go to GitHub, and I'm going to create a new repository, and I'm going to name it Insurance Site 2. Whatever, I'm going to make it private because I already have a GitHub repository for this one. So I'm just going to do it for this one. Oops. GitHub. I'm going to make it private. I'm just going to do create repository. And it's going to give us some commands that we have to run in our terminal in VS Code. So let's go to VS Code real quick, and let's open up our terminal. Now that we have our terminal, so there's a few of these commands I'm going to skip. Well, mainly just to get add readme. I mean, it's up to you if you want to add a readme or not. I'm choosing not to, so I'm going to skip that one. So I'm going to do git init to initialize a local repository. Then I'm going to do git add all, because I want to add all the files that's in here except for this VS Code one. So let's do, let's add git ignore, right? And then what we want to do is add in VS Code, because we don't want that. Right, we don't want that to go up to our repository. So we have that. Now let's do a git add all. And then we want to do git commit -m for message. And then we're just going to say initial commit. Just like that. Now you see the changes up here have been made because everything has been staged and committed. Now what we want to do is do git branch -m, just like how we're doing it right here. And we're going to get the main branch. That's the only branch that we have right now. Now we're going to add the GitHub repository URL. I don't know if that's a URL. Yeah, that's a URL. So yeah, we're going to add this to our thing and run that. It's going to add a remote branch here, which stores all of our stuff that we store on GitHub. Now after that, we want to push to the origin main. All right. All right, so there's many ways you can do this. You can actually use the GUI, and in my opinion, it's a lot easier. But just to get started, we're just going to do it this way. But going forward, we're going to use the little tool right here, the source control tool right here. So it's good. Git push. I'm going to push it up. And now if I refresh this page, I see that I have my get ignore, my styles, and my index.html file, so we're good there. All right. Cool. So in the next video, we are going to get started with the navigation. And yep, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so welcome back. So in this video, we are going to be applying our CSS reset to make all the elements back to 0 or have no value. So if you guys go to Google and you type in CSS reset here, if you just click on the first one here, it brings you to this website. So just copy this, and then we're going to place it right above this up here. Control V or Command V, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to save it. So we're going to save it there. Cool, and now we're going to get started with the navigation. Cool, so back to this. So we can basically take this away. All right, so I'll take this away. Now what we want to do is add our navigation. So we're going to do a nav element, and then hold on, I'm going to give it a class. So again, I'm using abbreviation, and I'm going to name this class nav primary, like that. Then I'm going to press tab, expand it, and then inside of that, we're going to do our logo. So as you can see from this site here, we have our logo, then we have login, then we have some icons. So we're going to be building that. So let's do div with the class of nav logo, like that. And then since we are using font awesome, so to get the shield, we want to do I with the class of fs, and then I'm just going to add some more, which is going to be fa shield, alt, and then I'm going to make it. I'm just going to leave it like that. So let's save it. Let's refresh this. Okay, so we get our shield, and you can see it's pushed all the way to the border right here. So that's really good. So it shows us that our CSS reset is working when it's pushed all the way to the border like that. So we're good there. And then beside our icon, we want to have a span, and we're just gonna say protect you, just like that. Save it, just like that. Cool. So we're making progress. Now, beside that, we're going to have like a menu container, I guess, to house all of these, the login and the social icon. So we could just name it nav menu, right? So we're going to do div, the class of nav menu, right? And then with that, we're going to do, then inside of that, we're going to do the login. So we're going to do div class nav menu login, nav menu login. And then inside there, we're going to do an A tag, and it's going to say, it's not going to go anywhere right now. We're not going to do any functionality for that. We're just doing the template. So we're just going to say login. Just like that. Now, beside that, we're going to add our social icons. So I'm going to do a div with the class of social. We'll do nav social. Socials, just like that. Nav socials. And then just a bunch of span tags with an icon in them. So let's do an I. Let me see. I got to open it. I with the class FAB. And then I'm just going to add. So this is going to be Facebook, FA Facebook, just like that. And then what I want to do now is just want to copy the span tags. So I'm going to do a shortcut way, Shift Command down. Oops, no, not that. Not Shift Command down. Shift Alt down. Shift option down, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so we got Instagram, Twitter. Just have that in there. LinkedIn. All right, cool. So we have that. We're gonna save it. And then, as you can see, we're getting everything. Okay, we get the login, we get the social icons. We're saying pretty nice. So the last thing we need to add will be our hamburger icon right here for the mobile, right? So we're gonna add that there, and it disappears when it gets bigger. All right, cool. So let's go here and let's do that. So it's going to be outside of the nav menu. All right, it's going to be apart from that. So we're going to do an I with a class of FAS, and then I'm going to put FA hamburger. Just like that. If you save it, you see the hamburger display right here on my screen. So we are getting that. We are looking good. All right. So in the next video, we're going to do the CSS and get everything rolling. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so we're back. So now that we have the HTML to our navigation, we're going to add the CSS. But before we do that, I want to commit these changes to GitHub. So if you guys are following along with GitHub, you guys can do this with me. So what we're going to do, I think I've said it in one of the previous videos, we're going to do it through the GUI. So as you can see, if you click on this button right here, if you have the source control option on VS Code, you will have all the changes that you have made. So if you click on this, you will see all the changes that you've made. Here, you guys see that we added the CSS Reset, and we can see the HTML changes that we made. Right, so what we want to do is we want to stage both of these changes. So if you click on this plus sign right here, it says stage all changes. So we're going to stage them all. And then after that, we're going to write a commit message. And for this commit message, I'm going to put the title of the video. So when you guys are following along, you know, and you want to go to that video's commit, you guys can just click on that commit and see all the code changes that happen at that video. So let me do that. So I'm going to name it to nav HTML. And then I'm going to commit everything. And then cool. So now if I go to my branches here, if you hover over this, you would see an up arrow to push. So you're going to push it, and all you have to do now is just press enter to confirm the push, and these changes will go up to GitHub. All right, cool. So now we have that done. We can get started with the CSS part for our navigation. So let's do that. Let me close all this out. Let me minimize this a little bit. All right, nice. And now we're going to get started. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to set some color variables because we're going to be using the same colors a lot. And it's just easier for me to give them a name versus copy and pasting, you know, the RGB code or the hex code everywhere in the code. And also, if I wanted to change the colors, it is seamless. I can change all the colors in just one little change. So to do this, we're going to do what you call root. And then in the root, we're going to set them. So we're going to do primary. Our primary color or our primary variable is going to be hashtag 083D77. Cool. So, and I'm going to show you guys how to use this as well once we start styling and stuff. So I'm going to copy the rest of these, and then you guys can pause the video and type them out yourself. All right, so let me do that. Cool. So here's all the colors that we're going to be using, and I have this padding. I don't think I'm using this, so we could probably just take that out. But you can also do that with padding as well, or with anything actually. You can set it as any type of variable, and you can use it within um, your CSS. So, all right. So now that we have that, let's do a Google inspect. It just makes it a lot easier to style, so you know exactly what you're styling. So the first thing that we have here is a nav with a class of nav primary. So what we want to do is do nav primary, and what we want to do there is give it some padding first of about 25 pixels, make it about 6%. Then we're going to do align items center, and then we want to do it. So let me save it so you guys can see. Okay, so the padding, align item center, and then what we want to do is a display flex, and you see that it made these side by side. So it has the nav logo side by side with the nav menu with the hamburger. So they're all side by side. So the things that's in nav menu also need to be flexed as well, so that the login and the social icons are beside each other as well. Okay, so with that, we also have the nav logo. So I'm going to do nav logo, and I'm just going to give it a set width so that the protect U doesn't collapse, and the U is on a whole nother line than what we want. So I'm just going to give it a width of 250 pixels. And then with that, also we want to go to our nav menu. So we're going to do nav menu, and then what we want to do is a display flex, like we said. And then so what happens is now the login and the social icons are beside each other. So we're good there. So now we want to do a justify content, space between. All right, give it some space. Let's see. I think I need to, let's go here. Actually, if you guys go back here to the nav, let's copy this. And then we want to take, well, let's copy it and then let's paste it, because we want to give the nav itself its own properties. And for the nav primary, the only thing that we want to do there is set the color. So the only thing we're going to do is set the background color to, and I'm going to show you guys how to use that. I'm going to do var, and then we're going to do dash secondary. And as you can see, it's, we're using these colors. So if we wanted to change the color to, let's just say, I don't know, whatever this color is, it changes there. So do that. So now in the nav, what we want to do now is a justify content, space between, give them all some space, and everything seems to flow better now. So now we just have to work on the nav menu with the social icons. So with that, we probably just need to give the nav menu a width. Probably not. Yeah, we probably need to give this a width. So let's give it a width of I don't know, 200 pixels. Let's see. All right. Now that's a lot better. All right, cool. So let's also, with our social icons and our span, so let's do nav social span. So we're going to do that. Nav socials span. With there, we want to just, give them some space. So let's do a margin left of about 10 pixels. All right. Looking good. Looking good. All right. So we are done with the CSS for our nav. In the next video, we're going to work on our hero section here. So with this section here with our navigation here is just static. Nothing quite works yet. I shouldn't say I'm trying to work on that, guys. This is why this is another reason why I'm building courses to help me with my speaking. So in the next video, we're going to be working on the hero, where we're going to be working on the background image, the title, all of this and all of that. And then I might throw this in if the video isn't that long. I might throw that in, but we will see. So I will see you guys in the next one after I make a commit. So I'm going to do this again so you guys can see. So I'm going to make a commit again. So let's go to source control. We want to go to our changes. And what we want to do is stage it. And then we're going to say, it's going to be the name of this video, which is going to be 3 nav CSS. Just like that. Commit it. And we want to go back to our branches. And then we go right here to this commit message, push. And then push. We are in there. So you see our commits, initial commit, the nav commit, the nav HTML commit, the nav CSS commit. Then, we're just going to keep making more commits, and then, everything will be good. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so in this video, we're going to be working on the hero. Just like this. I have an image, or I think I have 2 images that I'm going to add to the resources for this video. So make sure you grab that, download it, and put it in the root of your directory. So you can have the hero, and then there's an image down here that we're going to use. So just grab those. So let's get started. So for the HTML, what we want to do is going to be beside the navigation when it comes to structure, right? So we're going to do a div. We're going to do a class of hero. And then with that, we're going to have we're going to create the navigation or the links here. So we're going to do another nav, and we're going to do a class of nav, and let's do sub. And then with that, we want to do an A with the class of sub nav sub item. I'm not the best with the class names, but let's do it like that. And this right now won't go anywhere. Then the first one, we're going to name it home, right? Oops. So we're going to name it home. And now what we want to do now is just copy it a few times. How many we need? 4 more. So we just need to copy this. So let's just highlight it actually. Shift option down 2, 3, 4, and 1 more, 5. So we have home. And then we have insurance. we have membership. We have make payment. And then we have find an agent. Cool. So let's save that. Let's go back to our site, and you see that we have it. Cool. Nice. So now that we have that, the next thing that we need to do is make, we need to make this right here. So let's do that. So let's go back here, and then this will be right next to the nav sub. So let's do div class contact us. Whoops. So with that, let's look at it. Let's see how it looks. All right. So we have an icon. All right. So let's get our icon the class of FAS, and then we want FA phone FA2X. Let's save it, and then let's go back to it. All right, we have it. We have our phone. All right, so then let's go back. Oops. Let's bring that back up. Let's bring that back up. All right. Okay, so we have our phone. Now we need some information, right? So we want to get the 24/7 and then the phone number, right? So what we'll do there is then we want to do nav contact. Let's do info. So contact info. This is going to be a container that's going to hold these two together, right? So we want to do a div with the class of contact info available, right? And then what we want to do is 24-7 available, just like that. And then what we also want to do now is get the phone number. So the phone number, so we'll do div class contact info, let's do phone number. I should go underscore to phone number, just like that. The phone number, we're just gonna do just some random number, 780 713 5678. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. All right, save it. Let's go back to our site, and then we have it. All right, cool. All right, cool. So now we're going to go to the CSS, and we're going to add the image, and then we're going to add the styling for this, and then get everything else lined up. We're going to take away the underscore and all of that. And let's also make a commit. Let me make another commit. Also, I'm going to start. All right, so anyway, yeah, I'm just going to make this commit. So let's do git add all git commit dash m. This is going to be called for underscore hero underscore HTML. And do git push. And we're in there. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so we are back. So now that we have the HTML for the hero, let's get the background image and add the CSS styling and everything to it so that it looks like this, of course, right? So we should have this completed by the end of the video. Okay. Let's get to it. So we already have that. Let's go to our CSS. Do that, and then then here, I'm just gonna make a comment, and to easily make a comment, you could do Command KC. See, Command KC, and then I'm gonna put hero right here. And for hero, what we want to do is let's get the inspector, and we are, where's hero? Hero, here it is. All right. So the first thing that we want to do is get the background image. All right, so let's do that. So let's do hero. Then what we want to do is do a background image. Then we'll just do URL, quotation marks, and then we want to get it where it's at. So images/hero. Just like that. Now if we save it, we're not going to get anything right now, right? Because we haven't, there's a few other things that we need to do. One of them is set a height to it. So we're going to give it a height. Let's do 70 view height, just like that. And then let me make sure this image is, hero JPG. So JPG, like that. All right, so now we got it. All right, so now we need to change it because it it's off right now, right? And if you guys want, you guys can use another image. I thought this image was kind of funny, so I just grabbed it. So let's do background size. Let's do cover, just like that, right? And with that, it sets it to how we want. And then let's do background position. And with that, let's do center. Then it's going to center it. Now what we want to do also, what we want to do also is an object fit cover. Then we already gave it a height, so good. So we have our background image. Next thing that we want to do is the nav sub. All right, so the next thing that we want to style is the nav sub here. And what we want to do is, if we go back here, when we collapse this, the navigation disappears because we're supposed to have it pop out when we click on that hamburger. So for a challenge for you guys, I want you guys to make that work. I will probably add that feature at the end of the course, but I want you guys to try to make it work. If you took the first section of this course, then you should be able to do it. So originally we don't want it to display. We want it to display only when it gets to a certain width, right? And then it expands, just like that. So let's make that happen. So let me bring the inspector back up. All right, so hero, now we at the, okay, not this one. So hero nav menu, just like that. All right. Nav sub, just like that, right here. Okay, so we need to do nav sub. And then with nav sub, what we want to do is just a display none. Right. Oops. And sub, hold on, but before we do that, let's edit the links. So let's do, we honestly didn't even need to add the class because the nav sub only going to have those links. So we could have just did nav sub A. So we get all the A tags in there. And what we want to do is a text decoration, none, just like that. And there's still links, and then we could just do color. And we can make them, what is our primary query? So let's do var, let's do dash dash primary, just like that. Voila. Okay, so now we got that displayed. We need to work on this. Oh, and then so before we go there, let's go ahead and get this together. So we want to do a little bit of media queries. And what we're going to do is an add media screen, and then media screen, and let's say max width. No, we're going to do min width. Min width 992 pixels. So as soon as it gets to 992 pixels minimum, this is going to display. So what we want to do is just do nav sub display flex, just like that, right? And let's just change this underscore just like that. Now it's gone, right? And then if we go up to 900, so if you look here in the corner right here, when I expand it, it's going to keep going up. 992, and there it is. It's there, and then that goes there. Okay, so now we need to style this. All right, so let's look at it again. So we're going to do the media queries. Let's contact us right here. Then we have the phone, and then we have the contact info, right? Which is going to have some stuff in there as well. Okay, so contact us. So with class contact us, what we want to do is, it's a few things. We want to do a margin left of auto, right? And then let's do a margin right of 0. Okay. And then let's do a padding of 15 pixels, 10 pixels. Okay. And then let's do a background color of var and dash dash primary. Just like that. And then let's do display flex, just like that. And then let's do justify content, not space between, but what we're going to do is center, right? And then let's also align it vertically, center. Okay. Then another thing that we want to do is just give it a width 250 pixels, just like that. And we are there. Look at that. Now, we also want to do a color. Let's do var, not primary, but I think I have a white color that I like to use. Nice. All right, so the next thing we need to do is just make a little bit of space right here. So what we're going to do is take the contact info, and then what we can do is dot contact info available, and then so we're gonna grab the top one right here, and what we're gonna do is do a margin bottom of about, let's say 10 pixels. All right. Then what we also want to do is kind of separate the contact info box from the icon. So we can do contact info and then margin, what would that be? Left, margin left, about 10 pixels. Just like that. Give it a little bit of space. You can give it a little bit more space if you want, but that is it for that. Oh, the last thing we want to do is actually get the words that go across the screen right here. So the insurance simple made simple for you. All right, so let's do that really quick. So let's go back to our HTML. And then we want to put it inside nav contact us, but we're going to put it right here. And then what we're going to do is do a div with the class of hero text. And then it's going to say insurance made simple for you. Oops, wrong. Not inside of here. Excuse me. Right, take it out of here. It's going to be inside the hero, just like that. Now what we got to do is just add some styles to that. So let's add some styles to that. And that one is, what is it? Hero text. So with hero text, what we're going to do is a margin top, to move it down a little bit, 15 pixels. And we're going to do a text align of center. Then we're going to do a font size of 56 pixels, just like that. Voila, we are there. All right. So in the next one, we will be going over the form right here, and then we're going to start working into some of these components. So I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so in this video, we're going to be working on building out the form here, a little form section where you're going to be capturing emails and, stuff like that. So we can practice on working with, a smaller version of a form. And so let's get started with that. So let's go to our HTML. All right, we're here now. And this is, so the email block here is going to be on its own separate little area. So it's going to be beside the hero. So we're going to do a div with the class of email capture. And then there we want to do div with the class of email header. And then inside of email header, we are going to put our H1 that is going to say which insurance are you looking for. Right? So we have that there. And then beside there, we're going to do a P tag, and it's going to be receive a quote within 24 hours. Save it. Well, not save it yet. Let's see. Let's save it now so we can see it pop up on this page. We have to reload this. All right, there it is. All right. Let's go back to here. Okay. So now that we have this, what we want to do now is create our form. So our form, it is going to be outside of the header. put inside of email capture, of course, and it's going to be div with the class of email form, and then it's going to be a form. And right now, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to have an action. But it's going to have an input field. Oops. So I'm doing input, then I do a tab. Oops. Input tab. So input tab text. And then it's going to be text, and then I'm going to give it another HTML attribute called placeholder. I'm going to set that to enter your email. Okay. Save that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we have that there. So now let's do another one for the zip code, and then a drop down for the type of insurances. And then we're gonna have a button there. So we're gonna do, so we have that. So now we're gonna do another input. This one instead is gonna be a number. And then it's gonna have a placeholder of zip code. Just like that. Then it's gonna then after that we're gonna do the select drop down. So let's do a select. And the name of it is gonna be insurance. We don't have an ID, just gonna leave it empty. And then we're gonna do an option. So I'm gonna show you guys a shortcut or a little short trick. So if you do option times, how many of these we need? 5. If you do option times 5, it creates 5 of them for you, and then you can just just add them on in there. So for the first one, it's not going to have a value. It's just going to have a type. So it's like a placeholder or like a default value. Second one, we're going to do auto for the value, and then do auto. And this one we can just put home, do home, do renters, So, if we were using JavaScript, a lot of the times we can get this value, like stored into like some type of object, and send it to a server and save it to the database, and that could be part of that person's profile or something like that. And then let's see, the last one we're gonna do is life. And let's do life. All right. So now we have that. Let's save it and let's see what we got. All right. Cool. You see that? Now we gotta add our button. Then we'll be done with the HTML part. We can just jump right into the CSS. CSS is gonna be quite easy, believe it or not. So the button, it's gonna just put a button. It's not gonna have anything to it. Just get a quote. All right. Cool. And we got that saved. And let's go look at it. Cool. All right, so there's a few things that we need to do in the CSS, like have these come side by side, have this one take up a whole line, this one's split a line, this one take up a whole line, and give it a background, and also position it a little bit off to where it's overlapping the hero and the rest of the body. So we're going to be doing that in the next video in our CSS. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so welcome back. So I decided to split it up to where you guys can see the finished product, what we're working on, and the code. So I think that'll be beneficial. So in the last video, we created our email capture section with the HTML. this video, we're going to work on the CSS and getting everything to look exactly like this. All right, so let's go to our CSS, and then let's go to where we are now under the hero text. And the first thing that we want to do is get the, let's see, so the first thing that we're going to do is style the email capture class, right? So let me actually put this here. All right, so the email capture. So what we want to do is do a class email capture, and then the first thing that we want to do is do a background color, and then we already have our variable set up, so we're going to do a var dash dash secondary. All right, and let's save it. All right, already making progress. All right, so then after that, we're going to do a display of flex. And then by doing that, what happens is separates, or it puts the email header and the email form right beside each other instead of on top of each other. I know we probably done flex a lot, but by default, we want to have it to be a row, just how it is currently, right? And then we also want to do a justify content, and we want to do space between, right? Save that. Cool. And then beside that, we want to do a width of 80%, not 800%, 80%. Nice. Okay. So now we want to do a max width. So we want to give it a max width so it doesn't, it keep growing and growing. So we're going to do 800 pixels. It's the max width. Okay. So now we want to do a margin left of auto. Let's save that. You see what happens here. Put this over here a little bit. Do a margin left of auto. Then we want to do a margin right of auto. And then we want to do a margin top of negative 80 pixels. Nice. Last thing, well, one of the last things we want to do is give it some padding. Let's give it 40 pixels. Nice. Perfect. Now we want to do is an align items center. Right? And when we do that, everything centers vertically. And then we want to do a border radius of 5 pixels. So it kind of rounds the corners a little bit. Nice. So now we're done with that part. So now there's one thing that we want to do though. So we expand this. All right. That works, right? But when we collapse this, it just doesn't work, right? So what we want to do is add a little bit of media queries. So let's do a media screen, and so we want to do a max width 700 pixels. And with that, what we want to do is we're going to do email capture, of course. And we want to do a flex direction of column. And what's going to happen is they're going to stack again. All right, cool. And it's going to look like this, of course. So if we expand it, at 700 pixels, it goes back to being beside each other again. Cool. All right, so we have that there. We're almost done. There's a few more things that we have to edit. The next thing that we want to style is the email header. The email header, we want to, of course, make it a little bit bigger. Email header, and we want to make sure it's email header H1, just in case. Try to use email header for another thing. It won't work. So 24 pixels. We're going to do a margin bottom of 25 pixels. Let's save it. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Yeah. Now we're going to do a line height and 25 pixels. Cool. And it's going to stay that line height. So instead of, if you expand it, it's not going to have the words expand with it. It's going to stay this line height permanently. Good. And the last thing that we want to style is our form, is the elements in our form. So let's do input. And then in order to style an element, like an input element, you have to do type equals text. Now, something to note, these styles will apply to all input elements if you don't give it a specific class that these input fields is under. Like for example, if we do email capture and then do that. So these styles will only affect this, not the other input. So let's actually leave it as that. And then also want to do the select. And what we want to do is do a width of 95%. So let's see if that works. Nice. That works. And then let's do a padding of 12 pixels, 20 pixels. To make them a little bit bigger, give them a little bit of margin. And then do, I don't know if you would need this. Let's try box sizing. Border box. Before I save it, box sizing, border box, so it makes them all even, right? So let's take that out. So let's see. Take that out and save it. You see how it extends. This one doesn't. This one doesn't. So it's going to all stay the same. So Control Z. Bam. So we're good there. Now we want to do the email capture input. Let's just copy this. Oops. Copy all that. Just copy this. And then what we want to do is give it a width of 47%. Just like that. Right. And then what we can also do is do this and do the select as well. 47%. And now they're side by side. So with that, last thing that we need to do is the button, and we will be done with styling the CSS to this. This is crazy. We're moving right along. So let's do background. Let's do var. And then we want to do primary, that blue, just like that. All right. Let's save it. And what we also want to do is get the color, and we want to do var, and we want to get that gray, just like that. Then we want to do a border of none. And then we want to do a padding of 10 pixels, 12 pixels. Also, we want to do a width of 95%. And I kind of want to give it a little bit of a border radius of 2 pixels. Just like that. As you can see, let me close this. As you can see, this looks great. This looks really great. All right, so in the next video, we're going to work on the HTML for this section here, which is going to be fairly easy because once you create one, you can kind of copy and paste it and change this and change the icons. And it's kind of about it. So we're going to work on that in the next one. So I'll see you guys then. Peace. All right, so welcome back. In this video, we are going to be doing the insurance section here, where you have all the different types. And as you can see, we're using basically one card, and we're going to be copying it and just changing the icon and the title, and everything else is just going to be copied. So, and that's usually how, some things are laid out on a web page as well. So we're just going to be getting to that. So on this video, we're just going to be doing the HTML, of course, and in the next one, we're going to be doing the CSS. So we're just going to keep following on with that structure. And as you can see, as you're coding stuff, you start to build a pattern of what you're going to be doing. And it makes things easier to the point where you can knock out a website like this in a day, in a good solid 4 or 5 hours if you have everything already sketched out of what it's going to look like, which images you're going to use, which fonts you're going to use, which colors you're going to use. You can easily knock something like this out in a day. So yeah, I'm just going to get straight to the code. So let's get to the HTML. So let's get started. So we're going to do a section. And for this section, we're going to name it insurance section. Oops. At the end. And this is where we're going to store everything. All right. So let me close this. All right. So this is what we're working. Okay. So the first thing that we want to add is an H1. And we want to add insurance for everyone. Just like that. We're going to save it. And let's refresh this. Oh, it's right here. So hold on. This actually needs to go outside of this div. So we need to put it outside of this div. That happens all the time. You see it was actually right here. I'm expecting it to be down here. Happens all the time. So let's do that. Let's save it. Now we have it. Now it's better. All right, so it's right there. And then let's continue on. And then with that, we're going to have a div, like a parent div that's going to hold all of these insurance boxes. And we're going to call it insurance types. So insurance underscore types. And then in here, we're going to have a class called insurance box. Then in the insurance box, we're going to have a div with an icon background. And with the icon background, we're going to have an icon there. And for the first one, it's going to be, actually, So for the first one, it's going to be, let's do FAS, and then we're going to do FA-home. So it gives us the home icon. So we get the home icon right there. All right. So then next to that, we want to do the title. So we're going to do insurance box title. And then here we want to do home insurance. So as soon as we're done making this one, we can just copy it and then just edit it. So I'm actually gonna put the HTML and the CSS in this video. I think I could be able to do that. All right, so then we have that there. Let's put this div. Let's see. Let's save it. Let's make that a little bit bigger. So then we're going to do a div with the class of insurance. I gotta spell it right. Insurance box subtitle or subtext rather. And then we're just going to have some lorem ipsum. So I'm just going to I'm just going to go to the site. So if you want to look for some lorem ipsum, let's go to lorem ipsum. We get a lorem ipsum generator. So we need one paragraph generate. And then what we can do is just copy it, go here and paste it. And this might be even too long. Let's find out. Let's save it. Really don't need that much text. I think that'll be good though. Let's just keep it there. And then if it's more, we'll change it. But just keep it there for now. And then after that, we're going to have our little button here, get started. It's going to be very simple. So we're going to do a div with the class of insurance box action. And then there we're going to have an A tag. The href is going to go nowhere, so like hashtag, and what we're just going to put is get started. All right, let's see it. Okay, cool. So now with that, we're just going to copy the insurance box. So if you go from insurance box down to the last div right here, what you're going to do, you can do shift option down. So we got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have 6 of these. So then let's save it. And then we should have 6 of them, just like that. Cool. So now let's edit these and let's make them how they should be. So we're going to do that. So it's going to be life. Then the icon is going to be FAS, FA, holding, no hand, holding, heart. Let's save it. Okay. The next one is going to be pet. So I'm just going to do this. If you guys can just pause the video and look at this website and do that. Oh, actually, I'm just going to do it because you guys need to see the icons. So for the pet one, it's FA paw. So save that one, get the paw. Then we get auto, travel, and business. This one is going to be FA car. Okay, get the car. Now we need travel. And we got business time, FA business time. Just like that. I'm probably going to do the CSS in another video, so this video isn't so long. And then we got, what's the last one? Business. So where's business? I think this one was business. This one should be business time. So then, what is this travel? Luggage cart. All right, so we have all of that. So in the next video, we are going to be doing the CSS, and then the CSS, we're going to just make it look like this. And it's also going to respond just like this. It's going to expand just like that. And we're also going to have a hover effect to it. It's going to do this as well. So, yep, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, so welcome back. In this video, we're going to be working on the CSS to the insurance type section, where we're going to be making it responsive, and we're going to make it look just like this as well with a hover effect. So let's get down into it. So let's pull up our CSS file, and then there's a few things that we want to do. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to style this section. So this whole section here. And let's do section, and we're going to grab, remember the ID of insurance section. If I can spell it right, come on. All right. All right, so we're going to get this section here. So if I pull up this, remember this section that is going to be housing all of the insurance types. We're going to add some styles here. So let's go back to our CSS. And then really the main thing we want to do is give it a margin of 20 pixels auto. And before I save it, let's go ahead and make sure that this is up. So let's see what happens. So okay, actually that worked. Okay, so after that, we want to style the header. So let's do section H1. Then we want to give it a margin of 48 pixels and auto left and right. And then what we also want to do is give it a text align of center. So it centers the text. And the last thing we want to do is give it a font size. So let's do a font size of 2 rem. So we're just going to make it yeah, great. So it's in the middle. It's a little bit bigger. Got some text hierarchy. It's right under the text. The email capture. So that's good. All right. So the next thing that we want to do now is start working on the icon. And you see here we actually have a circle with a gray circle that's going to be the background to the icon. So let's make that. So we're going to do icon, background, and then we want to do background color. And then for this one, we're going to do var gray, right? Let's see what happens. We're going to build this out. All right, so save it, and you see it's making the whole line gray. Great. So next thing we want to do is make it a circle. So let's do a border radius of 50%, and this will turn that block into a circle. Save it. All right, so this is a circle right now. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is give it some height and width. What's a specified height and width? So let's do 3 rem, and then a width of 2 rem, just like that. Voila. Okay, so we're getting there. So after that, let's do a text align of center. Okay, we're getting even closer. And so then let's do a vertical align middle. Then let's do a display table cell, just like that, and it's going to display right there in the middle. Also, let's make the width 3 rem, so it'll be equal. All right, perfect. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do now is change the background color, or change the color to the icon. So in order to do that, we just want to get the icon background, and then we want to get the eye element. Remember the eye element here for the icon? So we're going to do the eye element right here. So we're going to get this. So we'll get the eye element, and then what we want to do is a color var primary. Oh, right there. What just happened just there? Background. Oh snap, right here, messing up. Icon background like that. And not background, but it should be color. So just like this. All right, so now that is blue. Okay, so now we're gonna start working on the boxes. All right, so now let's start by styling the parent box that's storing all of these, and we named it insurance types. So let's do class insurance types. And with that, what we want to do is a display flex. And okay, so now they're side by side by each other. And then we want to do a justify content center, just like that. And then after that, we're going to do a flex flow row wrap, just like this. All right, cool. So now what we need to do is style the boxes and give it a specified height and width. So let's do insurance box. And with the insurance box, what we want to do is give it a max width, so it can never get bigger than 300 pixels. All right. And then we want to give it a background color. We'll just do background for white. Then after that, we're going to do a margin 10 pixels all the way around. Okay, we're getting somewhere. And then let's give it a border. Let's get a border radius of 4 pixels. I always make little typo mistakes. So let's give it a box shadow. And with this box shadow, it's going to give it like, this little effect here. So just follow along. To Windows 0, 3 pixels, 10 pixels, RGBA. To 11, to 11. 0.568. Okay, so where we at? Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now, one of the last things we need to do is give it some padding because it is like together. So let's do padding of 24 pixels all the way around. And got the semicolon right here. Okay. All right, so let's continue. Finish styling our box, our insurance box. So next thing that we want to do is do the hover effect. So what we want to do is do a class of insurance box. And then what we want to do is add the hover effect right here. Just do hover, and then we're going to do background. Color. We're going to do var. Secondary, just like that. As you can see, if we go to this, if we hover over, it turns yellow. Cool. All right, so next thing that we're going to do is get the title. So we're going to do insurance. Let me see how I styled it on the HTML. Oops. Insurance box title. insurance, box, title, just like that. And then what we want to do is do a font size of 1.1 rem. Let's save it. Let's see what happens. All right. And then let's do a letter spacing of 1.2 pixels. So it'll add 1.2 pixels of space in between each letter, just like that. Then let's do a font weight. And let's do 600. And this 600 should come from Google Fonts. From that font that we added, we should have added weight 600, which we did. And then let's do a color. Now I'm going to show you guys how to work with the A element. Work with the A element or the opacity of a color. So we're going to do 0, 0, 0. And then we're going to do 0.8. Just like that. So it's going to give us that color. Cool. And then we're going to do a margin of, we're going to do 10 pixels top and bottom, and auto left and right. Cool. So, okay, so we're making some headway. So now let's style our subtext or subtitle, or whatever we called it. Insurance, box, subtext, I think. Let's go look at it. Subtext, yep. Insurance box, subtext. What we want to do there is do a color. Let's do 8, 0, 8, 0, 8, 0. Give it that nice gray color. Cool. And then with that, we want to do a margin also of 10. Semicolon. 10 pixels auto. This is going to give 10 pixels to the top and bottom, and auto for the left and right. Cool. All right. So now we're making some headway. Now we want to do a line height. So let's add a line height of 30 pixels, just like that. And then they're just a little bit bigger, of course. So you probably could take out some text if you want. I'm just going to leave the text how it is. I'm just going to do it that way. And then I think we are done. So if we expand this, you see what we get? Nice. Nice. And this works because we have display flex, justify content to the center, and flex flow row wrap. So by doing that, it will make that happen. Also, if you do inline block to these elements as well, if you just put these, if you put these elements as display, if you put these elements as display inline block, it will also do the same thing. So cool. So we got that set up. So we are done with the CSS of this video. The next video, we're going to work on this section right here. Should be fairly easy. And then work on this, and then work on this. So we're almost done, you guys. So let's stay motivated. We're getting through it. And let's continue on. So I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to be working on this vector image and this like pitch section here. Fairly simple. So let's just go ahead and get through it. All right. So let's go to our HTML. And what we want to do is after that first section we created right here, we're just going to create another section. So let's do another section. Let's do an ID of content pitch. Just like this. And then inside of there, the first thing that we want to do is get the image. So let's do an image And then for the image, we should already have the image. It should already be in here. Should be this one right here on draw playtime. So what we're gonna do is do /images/ on draw playtime. And let's save it. Let's see what happens. All right, so we get the image. Cool. Now, beside that, we want to add a div. Let's do a div with the class of pitch. And the pitch is the pitch is going to have a pitch title. A class pitch title. And then in the pitch title, we're gonna say why choose protect you. Save that. It's right there. And then on beside that, we want to do a subtitle. So div class subtitle. And then in the subtitle, we're just going to put some lorem ipsum. I'm just going to copy the lorem ipsum here. Or you can copy from some of the other HTML attributes. I'm just going to copy some lorem ipsum. We'll copy that, save it. All right. Next thing that we want to do is a checklist, a pitch checklist. All right. So we have the subtitle. I don't like the way it's looking. I like for it to like that. Okay. So now we have that. So now we're going to do a pitch checklist, which is just going to be those icons with that little line right there. So we're going to create one and copy it a few times. So let's do div with a pitch checklist. And then in the pitch checklist, we're going to create an empty div. And then in the empty div, we're going to do an I with the class of FAS. And then we're going to do space FA check circle. Just like that. Cool. And then beside that, we're going to do a span tag. And in the span tag, we're just going to put just this right here. Small little one-liner text. We're going to do that. All right, then we're going to save it. All right, and now what we're going to do is just copy this div, or you could do Shift, Option, 1. So how many are we going to have? So we have 2, we got to do 4, 3, 4. We're going to save it. Now we have it. So the next video, we're going to work on the CSS portion of this. Should be very simple as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so now that we have created our HTML for our pitch section, let's go ahead and start working on the CSS. So, all right, let's go down here to our CSS. And the first thing that we want to do is style the section. So we do section with an ID of content pitch. And then content pitch, what we want to do is a display, flex, wrap, and then a padding of 40 pixels. Also justify content center, just like that. Let's see what changes we've made. Okay, so we made everything in the center. flexed everything so we're like this. Now we need to edit the image. So let's go to, let's actually give, hold on, how should we do the image? Let's see. So content, pitch, image. So let's do, actually I don't even need to do that. I could just do content, pitch, image. The image tag. See, the image tag, what we want to do is give it a max width of 350 pixels. All right. Save that, see what happens. All right. Tiny now. Cool. And then let's give it a height of 330 pixels. Let's see what we have. Okay. All right. Now let's do background position center. All right, center in there now. And then let's do background size cover. All right. And then let's do a margin right of 8%. Cool. So give it some space in between this whenever they, I don't even believe they come beside each other. Actually, let's take this margin right out and let's do margin 3 rem auto, just like that. So give me 3 rem on the top and bottom, and then auto for the left and right. All right, that makes more sense. So let's expand this. Let's see what happens. Let's see, yeah, okay. I'll fix this. All right, so we still got some stuff that we got to do. So now let's go down to the pitch checklist. So then the pitch checklist here, we want to get the div, this div right here. So and what we want to do is just give it a little bit of margin. So pitch checklist, and then let's get that div, and then in that div, let's do a margin of 1.2 rem. 2 rem auto. See, now we're getting some space. Now we get some space in between these. So now let's also style the icon. So let's do pitch class, pitch checklist. And we want to get the eye element. And in the eye element, we're going to get the color. And what we're going to do is 6 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that. And then let's do a margin of auto.8 rem. Just like that. Bam. So now it's gray. Then let's also get the span. Let's style the span. So let's do pitch checklist span. Pitch checklist spans. What we want to do is that same color. So color, and we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like that. Cool. Now we also need to style the why choose you. Actually, there's a few other things that we need to do. So let's do the pitch. Sorry for the banging, guys. I live in an apartment, so they might be working on something outside. So we're gonna do pitch. We're gonna make it a width of 100%. And then we want to do a max width so it doesn't extend farther than 550 pixels. just like that. Then we want to do a margin of 3 rem auto. Cool. All right. Now let's do the pitch title. And we'll be done with the CSS for this one. So we're going to do pitch title. Then in the pitch title, what we want to do is a font size of 2 rem. We want to do a font weight of 600. And we want to get that color. Where's that color at? This one. Let's get this color. Insurance box title. All right, so let's do the title really quick, and let me hurry up and end this video so you guys don't have to hear any more of this banging going on. I don't know what they're doing, but all right, cool. Pitch title. Did I name it right? Pitch title. So let me actually change this to this, like that. Pitch title like that. All right. Cool. So it looks like we need to give the subtitle some type of margin. So I forgot to do that too. Let's do dot subtitle, and then in the subtitle, what we're going to do is a margin of 1.2 rem, and then auto, and then what we want to do is give it a color of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that, and then we want to give it a line height of 25 pixels. So let's see how that looks. All right, we are looking good. So we are finished with this section. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video so you guys don't have to hear any more of this banging. And I'm going ahead and commit this. So if you need to look at any references, just look at the commits at the GitHub repo that I'm going to post for each video. So you guys can do this. So good luck, not good luck, but good job on working on this, and we're almost done, guys. We just have to do 2 more sections here, the frequently asked questions, which actually is going to require a little bit of JavaScript, and then we're also going to do the footer. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so welcome back. In this video, we're going to be working on the frequently asked questions section. So this section right here, which is going to have a bunch of accordions. And if you click on the plus, it changes to a negative or a minus. And then whatever is in there comes down. These are like some of the frequently asked questions that, you know, you can put in there and you can have. So we're going to work on this section here. We're going to do the HTML. And then the next video, we're going to do the CSS and the JavaScript for this. So it should be very simple. So let's get started. So let me go back to the page that we're working on here. You see that we don't have anything under this pitch section. So what we're going to do is add a new section. So let's do section. Let's give it an ID of FAQ for frequently asked. FAQ for frequently asked questions. And then here we want to do an H1, and we're going to say frequently asked questions, just like that. And then there we're going to do a div, and we're going to give it a class of FAQ container, just like that. Oh, what happened to my container? Container, just like that. Then inside of that, we're going to do a div with the class of accordion group. And then, so let's look at this. So let's go to the site. So if we look at the accordion group, you can see that we have a title, and then we have some questions, then we have an icon. All right, so let's do that. So accordion group. So first thing that we're going to do is make the accordion an actual button, just like that. Yeah, make it a button, and we're going to say home insurance, just like that. Save it, and let's go back. Let's look at it. Okay. All right, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Now with this accordion, we also want to have a panel, right? Div class panel, and the panel is what's going to display when you click on it. The panel is going to have, so then we're going to have a class of FAQ, or the frequently asked questions of this accordion. And then we're going to have a question. So we're going to do H3. What are the common coverage under my age? Something simple like that. Save it. All right, we got that. Cool. So the next thing that we want to do is the answer. So for this, I'm just going to put some lorem ipsum, so you guys can put some lorem ipsum as well. I'm just going to copy this from my source. Paste it. Okay. And then with that, we're just going to copy this part, the FAQ part, because those are just going to be those questions that's inside of there. So we're going to copy, and then they're all going to be inside the panel. We're going to do 4, just like that. All right. Cool, so we have that. And let's do, is there a way I can format this? Let me select all of this, and then I'm going to go to format selection. I guess it is formatted. All right, cool. Doesn't matter. I just don't like that this comes out here. I would prefer the p tags to break just like this, and everything else be like indented. I like it like this. It's just so much easier to read. I like it like that. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter at all. All right, so we got our 4 questions. Now, what we want to do basically is copy this, because if we look at here we have, how many accordions do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we got 6 accordions. So, all right, so yeah, so what we're going to do is collapse this accordion group, just like that. Right, and what we're going to do is copy this. So I'm going to do a shift option down, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we should have 6 of these. Save it. All right, now we have 6 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me do one more. 6. So save it. Now we got 6. All right, cool. All right, seems like a lot here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys. I keep going up too far. Right here. All right. So I'm going to collapse this one. I'm going to collapse this one. I'm going to collapse this one, and this one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, cool. So the only thing that we need to change is really the name of the accordion button. So I have home insurance, so we're going to need what life, pet, auto, travel, and business. So let's do that. So let's go to the second one. Here I'm going to put life, close it. Oops. All right, then here I want to put pet, and then I'm going to close it. And then here I'm going to put travel, and I'm going to close it. And here I'm going to put business, and then I'm going to close it. Let me see, how many do we have? Oh, auto. Auto was the last one. Auto. Here. Auto. All right, save it. There we go. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to style this with CSS. I know this looks kind of ugly, but CSS and JavaScript is going to make all of this look exactly like this. All right, so I will see you guys in the next one, and peace. All right, and we are back. So in this video, well, in the last video, we did the HTML to our accordions. That's how they look right now. Not very appeasing. But this video, we're going to use CSS to make them look exactly like this. All right, and they're going to do this as well, and they're going to look like this. All right, so let's do that. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go to our CSS file, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then we want to just start styling our stuff. So let's do a section. Remember how we did last time, section, and then we want to get the ID of FAQ. And here we're going to do a background. Give it a background of var. Let's make it gray, just like that. Cool. Now with that, we're also going to do a padding top of 1 rem. Right, so a rem element, if you guys didn't know, a rem element is how many pixels it is set for default for the font. So by default, the font, I think, is 16 pixels. So 1 rem is 16 pixels, 2 rem is 32 pixels, and so on and so on. And the reasons a lot of people use rem is because if you go to the top here, and let's say we go to, if we put a star, if we do this, if we do star and then do this and do font size, let's say 10 pixels, right? So if I do font size 10 pixels, well, the 1 rem unit would equal 10 pixels. And if I save this, here you see things kind of change a little bit here, which you can't really tell because, you know, 10 and 6. Well, no, I think 10 pixels is the default. And then, yeah, so I'm doing padding top 1 rem, and then that's it for that one. And then after that, we want to get the, we want to get the container, so FAQ container. The FAQ container, we want to do a padding of 0, 2 rem, 2 rem. Just like that. Just like that. Now, we want to style the accordion group. So each of the accordions. We're going to do accordion group. And then there we want to do a margin. 0.8 rem auto. Just like that. All right, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Let's also do a width of 100%. All right, that's good. Then let's go to the accordion. And what we want to do is a background color of var secondary. Cool. Now we want to change the color of the text. So we're going to do color 444. Just like that. We're going to do a cursor pointer. So, you know, have a pointer when we look at it. There's a pointer when we hover over it. Let's do a padding 18 pixels. Let's do a width of 100%. All right. Let's do a max width. Let's give it a max width so it doesn't expand no bigger than 550 pixels. Just like that. Yeah, see? Then we're going to do a text align of left. And then we're going to do a border, none. And then let's do an outline, none. Probably don't even need to add this. I remember, I think with the CSS Reset, probably don't even need to add the border and outline attributes or properties, but sorry. So we also gonna have a transition of 0.4 seconds. So when it opens and closes, gonna take 0.4 seconds. We also want to do a font size of 1.3 rem. All right. And then we want to do a font weight of 600. Just like that. All right, so we make it somewhat. Now we're going to add the plus and the minus icons. And to do that, we're going to use the after. So we're going to do accordion, colon, after. So after it, what we want to do is a content. And this is the content that if you go to Font Awesome, it'll give you this information. So 02795, just like that. And this is the Unicode character for the plus sign. And then we're going to have the font size of 13 pixels. So it's going to set the size of it. I'm going to have a color of white, and it's going to float to the right. Then it's going to have a little margin left of 5 pixels, just like that. Cool. So now we have it. All right. So then what we're going to do is dot active and dot accordion hover. So when it's active and when we hover it, I want to change the background color to C, just like that. So as you can see, that's what happens. Now also when it's active, or when we give it the class of active, when we click on it and have it, display and drop down, we want the minus sign to appear. So let's do content, and what we're going to do is get the Unicode for the minus symbol. So we're going to do \2796, just like that. And then, well, we can't set it to active yet. We have to do the JavaScript for that portion of it. All right, so let's do the panel. So this area right here, so we're going to style the panel. So we're going to do dot panel, and then we're going to do text align left. Cool, it's already there anyway. Then we're going to do a background. Color of, let's do white. All right, and then let's do an overflow hidden. Like that. And then what we want to do is a max height. And we're going to make this disappear. So we're going to do a max height of 0. Right? So it's gone. All right. I kind of want these accordions to be in the center. And so, but before I do that, before I do the max height, let's do some more stuff. So let's do a max. Let's save it. All right, let's bring that back. So let's do a max width of 510 pixels. Just like that. Well, I could probably make it 550 pixels as well. All right, 550 pixels, and then we're going to do a margin 0 auto, and I think this will put them all. That's how I want the accordions to be. So let's do accordion. Are we doing margin? Oh, so let's add a margin 0 auto to that as well. All right, so let me go back back here. So we want to here at the FAQ container, which is going to be this. That's going to control. So just highlight this. I'm running into a little bit of difficulty here, but I think I figured it out. So what we want to do here is do a text align center. And what is going to happen is going to get all the accordions and center them. So text align center. And there it is. All right, cool. Cool. So let's continue. We are at the panel. All right, we're at the panel. And let's uncomment this, the max height. So Command KU, we'll uncomment that. So then there, so the panels are gone. And what we want to do is give it another transition. Let's give it a transition of 0.4 seconds, just like that. And what's going to happen is when this opens, or when it gets its set height, it's going to transition in point. It's going to open up in 0.4 seconds. So let's actually comment this back again because we got to style. Let's style our questions. All right. So let's do FAQ. So the actual question. Let's do a margin 1 rem auto, just like that. And then let's do .FAQ H3, which is actually going to be the question, and we're going to do a font size of 1.1 rem, color of var primary, and then we're going to do a font weight of 600. We're going to do a margin bottom 1.1 rem, just like that. All right, cool, cool, cool. So we just styled all the questions. Now let's style the paragraph. And now, yeah, the P tag. Now, be the last thing that we've styled before we jump into the JavaScript. And I think I'm just going to move the JavaScript portion to the next video. So let's do that. So let's do a color. Then let's do 444. Then let's do a font. Actually, I'm going to put it in this video. Let's do a font size of 0.8 rem. Just like that. Make it a little bit smaller, and let's give it a line height. Line height of 20 pixels, just like that. Cool. Now we have the FAQ set up. Let's get the JavaScript set up. So, actually, I'm just going to move it to the next video. So, the next video, we're going to do the JavaScript portion to open and close our accordions, and that will be it for that video. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so in this video, we're going to be working on the JavaScript portion for our accordions, all right? So, before we start, let's go ahead and uncomment our max height because we're going to need that. So we just do, I do Command KU and comments and Command KC to comment. All right, so there's the accordions. Here they are. And what we want to do is when we click on it, we want them to become, we want them to expand. All right, and become active. All right, so first thing that we're going to do is after we uncomment our max height, let's go ahead and add a file in our root. So on our root here, we're going to add a file, new file. Let's do app.js, our JavaScript file. Then on the bottom of our HTML, here in the body, what we want to do is do a script. So we do a script source, and then the source is going to be /app.js. Cool. So now we're linking our JavaScript file. On the JavaScript file, what we want to do is get all the accordions, loop through them, add an event listener, which is going to be a click. And when it is clicked, what's going to happen is it's going to set the max height to the scroll height of the window. All right, kind of hard to explain, but I will show you guys how we do it. All right, so we're going to do var accordion equals document dot get element by class name, and we want to get the accordion. All right, so we got the accordion, or all the accordions with the class name accordion, and we're going to do a var I, and we're going to do this because we're going to do a for loop. So what we want to do is a for I equals 0. If I is less than accordion.length I plus plus. All right. So then we want to get the accordion. Yeah. So each accordion, we're going to add an event listener of click, and then with that, we're going to run a function that's going to happen every time an accordion is clicked. It's going to run a function. This function is going to be this. So it's going to be this dot class list, which is going to be that accordion. And then what we want to do is a toggle the class of active. Okay. So we want to turn active on for that accordion. And then the next thing we want to do is get the panel for that accordion. So panel equals this dot next element sibling. right? So if we look, got the accordion, right? The next element sibling, which would be the panel. And that's because they are right beside each other. They're in the same hierarchy line, and they're under the accordion group. So the next one will be the panel. All right, so we're going to get the panel, and the padding that we want to set is going to be 18. Set it as a string. 18, right? So, oops, equals. All right. So then we're going to do if panel.style.max height. That means if there's a max height, then we're going to do panel.style.max height equals null. So we're going to set it. So if there's a max height, we're going to set it to null. That means that we're closing the panel, right? And then we're going to set the padding as well to null. Now, if it doesn't have a max height, we have a max height of 0, that means that it doesn't have a max height. So if it doesn't have a max height, then what we want to do is panel.style.max height is going to equal panel.scroll height plus, plus the pixel. So it's going to be that, and then we're going to do the same thing for our padding. So panel.style.padding is going to equal the padding plus a string with the pixels, just like that. All right, now let's save it. Let's see what happens. So if we click this one, it displays. We have a little bit of some issues here, but it does exactly what we want. Now let's fix that a little bit. All right, so in order for us to fix that, we're going to have to change our max width on our panel. Right now it's 550. Let's change it to 510. Then let's let it refresh. And there it is. I also think if we just give it the padding of 18 pixels right now, we probably don't have to do it here. So what we can do is just let's comment this line out, comment that line out. So the padding, oh, okay, I see the issue now. That's why. Even though there's a max height, there's a padding, so we can't give it the padding of 18 pixels. We can't do that. So we have to put this back. And what I'm going to do instead, though, is I'm going to switch these around. So I'm going to copy it. I want the padding to be added first. And then we're going to do the height. Okay. Let's save that. And let's see. Yeah. Nice. Nice. just like that. All right, we are done with this. This is the JavaScript version of it. If you guys have never written JavaScript before, this is how you would do it with working with the UI. You know, sometimes you have to know some CSS to be able to use some JavaScript. And that's why a lot of people like to teach HTML and CSS first before you learn JavaScript, because JavaScript, you're going to need to know both of those. But we are done with this part. So in the last two sections, well, the last section is going to be the footer. And after the footer, we're going to be done and we're going to deploy. And that'll be it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right. So now that we are finally finished with the accordions, in the last video, we did the JavaScript for it. The next thing that we are going to do is the footer. All right, so let's get started on the footer. And let's go back to, let's close out our HTML. Oops, not our HTML, but our JavaScript. Let's pull up our HTML and let's just get started. All right, so what we want to do now is add an element called footer. All right, so what we're going to do is a footer. And then there we're going to do a div with the class of row. And then we're going to have a div with the class of call or column. And then there we're going to have a div with the class of title. And then with the title inside there, we're going to have our protect you icon. So let's do an I with the class of FAS. And then what we're going to do is FA-shield-alt, just like that. Let's save it. Let's go to our site. All right, so we have that. And then beside that, what we're going to do is put a span. In the span, we're going to put protect you, just like that. Cool. And then, so that's it for the title. So then we're going to do a class of info. Then the info, we're going to do class of info text. Then with info text, we're just going to put some lorem ipsum. So if we want to look at what we're doing, we're doing this right here, the lorem ipsum, just a lorem ipsum sentence. You know, and of course, you know, if you want to add, you know, some real content, of course you can do that. But this is just a template. We're just building a template here to practice on our skills. All right, so we have that, and now we're going to do the phone number. So we're going to do a div with the class of phone, and we're just going to put a random number, 920-202-1023, just like that. Now save it. Cool, we have that there. Okay, so now what we want to do is another column. In this column, we're going to put the newsletter stuff. So we're going to do a div, the class of column, then we're going to div with the class of title. In the title, we have a span with newsletter. And you technically don't have to put the span. You can just put newsletter as well. And then on the info, we got the title. Now let's do the info. And it's just going to be another lorem ipsum sentence, just one sentence. So copy that. And then we're going to have an input field. Input with the class of newsletter, just like like that. Type of text, cool. And then we're going to have a span. And then that span, what is going to be is a button with the class of button subscribe. It's going to say subscribe. Just like that. Cool. All right, so we're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. So then after this row that we have here, we created a row. We're gonna do an HR, right? You know what HR is? Just a little line to separate. Now we want another row, and this row is gonna do the links, and then we're gonna have another row that's gonna do the, some of this stuff, right? So we have 3 rows essentially. So now we're working on the second row, so we're gonna have 4 columns, and they're all gonna basically say the same thing. All right. So let's do a div with the class of row, and then do a div with the class of column or call, and then we're gonna have a div with the class of title. And this is gonna be easy because we're gonna make one, and then we're just gonna copy the rest of them. We have the links. See, we have links, services, support, and about. So we have links now. Then links is going to have its own links, of course. So we're going to do a div with the class of links. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Links, just like that. And then with the div with the class of links, each one of them are going to have a link. And then we're just going to do some lorem text. So lorem, Iwasaki. Then I am going to put it right here. Then I'm going to do shift, option, down. So we did 4, 3, 4. Cool. So we have that. So we have one column. Cool. So now we need, so let's copy this column. Let's do shift, option, down. So that's 2, 3, 4. Right? How many links we have here? 4 links. Cool. Okay, so the first one is links. What's the second one? Services. Support. And about. Just like that. So now we have 4 links. Links, services, support, and about. Cool. So now we're going to do one more row. This row is going to be terms and conditions, legal and patents, and our copyright. All right, so we completed that row. So if you use, if you're using Visual Studio Code, you should be able to see the line for the row, and then which is right here. So what we're going to do is an H3 for another one, and then we're going to create another row. Now, actually, we're not even going to call it row. We're going to just call it legal. So div class legal, and then we're going to have div. So let's do a tag, and then let's do. It's not going to go anywhere. So let's do terms and conditions. Then what I'm going to do is a shift, option down, 2, 3. And then we're going to do legal. And then we're going to do patents. Cool. So now we have that. And then the last thing that we're going to do is our copyright. So we're going to do div with the class of copyright, like that. Then we're going to use the ampersand copy to get the copyright symbol. And we'll do 2021 all rights reserved, just like that. And we are done with the HTML. So let's save it. All right, we got it. All right, so in the next video, we're going to work on the CSS and we're going to completely transform this thing and we're going to be finished. Then after that, we're going to deploy this using Netlify, and we're going to be done. So see you guys in the next one. All right, so in this video, we're going to be working on the CSS to transform our HTML for our footer to look exactly like this, all right? So let me not waste any time. Let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we want to style is going to be the footer. And then the footer, what we want to do is do a padding. I'm going to give it some padding. So 20 pixels. Let's give it a background color. RGB. Let's do 26, 26, 26, just like that. Let's save it. Let's see what we got so far. All right, I'm getting that. Now let's do a color. So everything is going to have this color, RGB 160, 160, 160. Just like that. Cool. All right. So now let's style the rows. So when there's a footer and it has a class of row, we're going to do a display flex. So we're going to use flex box. We're going to do flex flow row. We're going to do a color of RGB 160, 160, 160. All right. Oops, no, we don't want to do that, sorry. Take the color out. We're going to do a width of 100%, just like that. And then we're going to do the columns. So we're going to do footer.column. Each column is going to be display inline block. Save it. Cool. We want to do a max width of 250 pixels. We want to do a margin of 1 rem auto, just like that. All right. Already making good headway right now. That's perfect. All right, so after that, what we want to do is a footer.column.title. And then there we want to do a color of EEE. It's like one of my favorite white colors. And we have a margin bottom of 1 rem. Just like that. Cool. Looking better, looking better. Okay, so now we're going to do a footer.column with the class of info and that div. So if we go to our HTML, or actually I'm going to go to my HTML. So the column that has info with the div. Column with the info this column info div. So we're talking about these elements here. Info div. So then we want to do a margin bottom of 0.7 rem. We want to do a font size of 0.8 rem. Cool. All right, so we made those slightly smaller. Now what we're going to do is change the phone number to yellow. All right, so let's do that. So let's do, I could just do .phone and do color. Yeah, let's do color var secondary. That should work. All right, cool. Then just a few more things that we have to style. So we want to get the info text, right? Which is, I think this is the info text. All right, so we're going to do .info text. That's going to be a font size of 0.8 rem. Save it. This one. Info.info text. All right. So we actually don't even need to do this. We won't even need to do that because we're doing that right here. Column info div. We already given it a 0.8. All right, so let's just skip that. So let's do footer.legals. So now we're on the legal part at the bottom. Let's do a text align of center, padding of 10 pixels, just like that. Cool. And now let's style the A tag. So let's do .legal A. And let's do text. We can leave it. You can leave it like that, so everybody knows that it's a link. Right? It's not going to go anywhere, but everybody knows it's a link. All right. So then we want to do .legal div. Well, yeah, A. And then we're going to give them some margin. So let's do margin 0, top and bottom, 20 pixels on the left and right. All right, cool. And then the last thing that we're going to do is going to be the copyright. So the copyright, I have to do the text box. So let's do text align center. Let's do a margin 20 pixels auto, which is going to give it some margin on the top and bottom. All right, so it's not all cramped up here. Cool. So actually, when we go, so I was wondering what was going on with the text box here. So with the text box, we need to remove the div because we didn't add a div in here. We did column info, and then there's no div here. So, and this is the info text. So this one does not need a div. I was wondering, like, what is going on? All right, so let's save that. Now this text should be smaller. Okay. All right, so then the last thing that we're going to do now is going to be the input. Oops. is the input right here. So let's go ahead and style the input, right? So let's do input. Let's do type equals text. And then what we're going to do is give it a width. Well, I'm gonna do footer. Let's do footer. So what is this under? Footer input. So let's do footer input type text, and let's do a width of 95%. Save it, see what it do. Okay. And then let's also do footer, and let's do the button. And let's make that a width of 95% as well, just so that they're lined up. Let's do button subscribe. What is it? Button subscribe. Let's do that one as 95%. Maybe not. Let's do, instead of 95%, let's do 90%. Nope. 2%. All right, yeah, about 92%. And then let's do a padding of 10 pixels, 12 pixels, just like that. And let's give it a margin. I'm about to change that width again. Margin of 8 pixels, 0. All right. And then let's give it a box sizing. I think this will fix it. Box sizing, border box. And let's make that back 95%. Bam! There it is. So put the semicolon right there. Cool. HR. Let's style the HR. Let's give it the HR color of something subtle like what the font is. So let's do a color. Is it color? I think it's background color. Let's do background color of what is that? 160, 160, 160. So I'm just gonna copy this. Like that. Is that no? Let's make it darker. Oh, is that even working? Let's see. Okay, so let's do color then. Let's see if color works. Okay, so for the HR, it's not background color. I forgot all about this. So we're gonna do border, none. Then we're gonna do a height of 1 pixel, just like this. We're gonna do a background color of 444, just like that. Cool. And now we are complete. So this is our project. This is what we created in this course. I think this course was about 16 videos, and we efficiently knocked it out. So congratulations to you if you have made it this far and you completed this course. You have did a hell of a job. On the next video, we are going to deploy it. and you will have you'll be able to put this project on your portfolio or on the website or whatever. It's free use. So I'll see you guys in the next one. And if I don't see you in the next one, I hope you take another one of my courses. I hope you enjoyed this course because I enjoyed making it, honestly. And I don't know. I hope I see you again soon. So see you guys in the next one. Peace.